Hi everyone, I'm Kanika Saxena. I'm an authorpreneur, an author and an entrepreneur. It's indeed an honor to be a part of Litfest 2021 by NE8x. I'm happy to share that two of my books are Teeny Tiny Stress Triggers Troubling You and The Atypical Tale of a Typical Indian Woman feature in Litfest 2021 by NE8x. I have published 3 other books in the self-help genre. I am the founder of a content writing startup, The Writing Right. I hold degrees in engineering and management. As a person, I am an incurable optimist who always looks for the silver lining in every dark cloud. And this is the approach I try to present in my books. Many people tend to believe that self-help books carry heavy content that is difficult to understand. But I present my books in a completely different style. My books are written in simple language that is easy to understand. Anybody can get the message that is conveyed through these books. All my books carry a heavy philosophical message, but they are light and easy reads written in a simple conversational tone. These books have the power to transform lives. One important lesson I have learned from COVID-19 is life is limited, so enjoy it completely. Coming from a literary background, let me talk about the changes that have come about in the world of literature. The definition of literature is it's a label given to written words that we like to cherish. The definition of literature has not changed, but what has changed is the concept and the writing styles. For starters, the word literature itself is now spelled with a small l, unlike the capital L it was spelled with earlier. This is because earlier the word literature was associated with something profound, something lofty. But today, even simple and light-hearted books are considered literature. I still remember in my school days, we had a separate subject called literature where we studied works of Shakespeare, classics, and all heavy literature. But today, even the books in school have changed. Although the writing styles may have changed, one thing that has not changed is the definition of good literature. So what is good literature? Good literature is original work that is delightful to read and touches our inner core. For me, touching the inner core is the most important aspect of literature. If a book touches you, if only then you can relate to it, only then you feel connected to it. And that is what defines good literature. And this definition of good literature is never going to change. Let me tell you an interesting story about how I got into the field of writing. This was during the early lockdown in April 2020. I was feeling a little low because my business had suffered a bit because of the pandemic. This is when I came across a talk by a motivational speaker. He related a story which is very interesting. So let me tell you the story. There was once a frog which was in a well and it wanted to come out of the well. It struggled, but it could not. there was a rabbit outside the well who thought of helping the frog. But despite all their efforts, the frog was unable to come out of the well. So this is when the rabbit said, "Okay, let me go and get a ladder for you so that you can climb and come out of the well." So the rabbit went to get a ladder. When he returned, to his amazement, he found that the frog was already outside the well. So he asked the frog, "How did you do it? How did you manage to come out of the well?" And the frog replied, "I had to come out of the well because a snake got into the well and I had no option. To save my life, I had to jump out of the well." This story drove home a very important point, that many times in life, difficult circumstances and negative people come to teach us an important lesson and to steer our lives towards something better. This is when I decided to give up moping and feeling sorry for myself and gathered myself together and wrote my first book, A Lockdown Story. A Lockdown Story is about my lockdown journey, of how I overcame my fears and my anxieties and emerged a stronger person during and after the initial lockdowns in India. And this book was received very well by the audience, and this motivated me to write my next book, which is titled Gift Yourself a Smile. This book was published in December 2020. It is about smiling and positivity even in the worst circumstances. After Gift Yourself a Smile, these two books were self-published by me. The next book is titled Are Teeny Tiny Stress Triggers Troubling You? This book was published by Blue Rose Publishers, and I had the honor of this book being launched by Praneeth Kaur, Her Highness Praneeth Kaur, the Queen of Patiala, in February 2021. After the launch of Are Teeny Tiny Stress Triggers Troubling You, I published my next book, The Atypical Tale of a Typical Indian Woman, on 8th of March, International Women's Day. My latest published book is Social Media Tomfoolery. This book is about the positive and negative impacts of social media. My next work is titled You Are the Hero of Your Life, and this book has been submitted to the publisher this time. So writing books has helped me a lot because I've discovered my passion in writing, and I have also emerged a stronger person by writing self-help books. Now let me tell you about the books featured in Litfest 2021. The first book is Are Teeny Tiny Stress Triggers Troubling You? This book is about the various lifestyle habits that trigger stress in us. I have raised awareness towards these habits, and suggested ways to manage them. In this book, I have also included a scratch pad at the end where you can note down your stress triggers and your solutions to managing them. My next other book is The Atypical Tale of a Typical Indian Woman. This book is a book about women's empowerment, where the focus is on self-empowerment instead of looking at outside sources for empowerment. Now, I would like to thank NE8x for organizing Litfest every year for all authors. This Litfest gives us an opportunity to present our books to global audience. I'm really thankful to NE8x for adding 2 of my books in Litfest 2021. At this point, I would like to wish all budding authors all the very best to publish their books and become successful writers. Make sure that you connect with NE8 to reach a global audience. Thank you.